This is Eldritch Song with the Magic Online Clan Seraphim, and we got a cube draft for you. So let's take a look here at what cards we have. So we actually got quite a few good ones. We've got Control Magic, Jace Memory Adept, Grand Arbiter, Hermit, Jite, Bloodbraid, Forbid, Doomblade, Journey, Elder, Nicodle. Almost every single card in here just is pretty good, pretty amazing. And it is honestly hard to say where to go from a first pack like this, because you pass Jace, probably going to be losing the the Control Magic and possibly the Grand Arbiter somewhere, or even the Forbid. So, because blue is a pretty popular color in here, and if possible, I'd honestly rather just stay out of that color. Then again, Jace Memory Adept is pretty broken. Jite is just fantastic. It doesn't really need any kind of justification for it. Journey to Nowhere, obviously good. Doomblade is good. Lately, I have been sort of torn between drafting 5-color control and maybe like a rock deck. I definitely do like the blue cards in this pack currently, but I think I might just try to force 5-color control again, just for the sake of giving it a shot again. So in that vein, I'm looking for single-costed cards or multicolor cards like Bloodbraid. Well, not Bloodbraid, but possibly like Doomblade, Journey to Nowhere. For that reason, probably if I was going to take a card out of this pack, I'd probably take the Journey. So it is definitely one of the weaker cards, comparatively speaking, but I think it'll be worth it in the end to play the 5-color control. Okay, so we've got Balance, Elder, Mox Diamond, and that's really about it for 5 colors. I really like Balance, but Elder is also quite good, but I think right now just need to take the really great spells, and I think Balance just qualifies for that. So I will take a Balance, and I'll pass the rest. Okay, so let's see. Next pick, we've got Red Sun, we've got Cold Steel Heart, possibly, and we've got cards like Phantom Centaur. I don't really like Phantom Centaur, to be honest. I'd prefer to take something like Face Fetters or Red Sun over that, even Mana War. I guess here I'd be fine with taking I guess a Face Fetters, a bit more economical than a Red Sun Zenith. Definitely though, need to grab some bomb creatures. I did play 5-color control in a previous cube, and one of the issues that I encountered at least was I didn't have enough bombs. So I'm going to try to remedy that. And so far, we're not really, you wouldn't think that we were playing 5 colors from the picks we've made so far, but they are all definitely single-costed, and that makes them quite easy to splash. And one of the most important parts of playing 5-color control is making sure your mana base is working on that a lot. So the first pack really is dedicated to picking up your spells and your bombs, and then you can use like in the second and third packs you're still trying to get your good cards, but you're focusing a lot more on mana fixing. So I'm just going to try to take the best cards out of each pack here for that are single costed and go for that. Okay, so we're not really getting very good picks, like, to be honest here. Probably the best card in here for us would be like Indrix Stomp Howler. Shaman does nothing. Grave Robber does nothing. I mean, I guess we could try to transition toward a rock build, but I really don't know if that's necessarily the right move. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Indrix Stomp Howler and just see where that leads us. Mana Crypt, obviously a fantastic card. Though I don't really want to play it in a control deck where I could be, stuck on, a really long game. Okay, so I've got Deep Analysis, Gemstone Mine. I'm gonna go ahead and take Deep Analysis here. Definitely not a very good pack for bombs. Frantic Surge, Miscalculation, Mana Tide, Disenchant. I'm gonna go ahead and take Miscalculation. I like Frantic Surge, but Miscalculation just seems like it'll be better in this deck. For right now, at least. Alright, so here, pretty unimpressive. Can take a Vivid Land here, it looks like. Doesn't really matter, but it looks like I have few white cards here, so I'll go ahead and take a Vivid Meadow to start off with, just in case we have problems with our 5-color control deck later on. Okay, so we've got Temporal Isolation, Lightning Bolt, and some decent fetches here. So we got Temporal Isolation, which is decent removal, and some good mana fixing, mostly Overgrown Tomb and Vivid Grove. Here, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Temporal Isolation for the removal. The removal, and just keep going. Here, I like the Elder, but I think Lightning will be better overall. Let's see, Elder, Triskelion. Yeah, I'll take a Lightning. If I'm going to play any creatures, I'd rather them be beaters. Alright, so none of these cards are terribly impressive. Phyrexian Processor is an option, but so is Overrule. And I think I'll just go ahead and take the Overrule because it is a counterspell, and we do need those for sure. We have Phantom Centaur or is it Boiler Works? The Centaur might not be bad if we can grab some green and get some mana fixing going on. But I think I'll go ahead and take this mana fixing here. Alright, so none of these are very impressive. I'll go ahead and take the dual land here with the Stirring Wildwood. Manlands actually, from my experience in the previous draft, were fairly useful. Because the deck really does have so few creatures that the Manlands actually end up serving as a possible finisher. Actually, I'm quite pleased to get a Vivid Crag back. So hopefully we can make this second pack work a bit better for us. So we've got, already we're looking pretty good. We've got a Damnation, Austere Command, Inferno Titan are the ones that I'm seeing immediately. Snuff Out actually is not bad also, though it's probably a bit harder to play in our deck. Mana Leak's not bad either. I think here I'm going to take a Damnation for the removal. One of the things that a 5-color deck does need is lots of mass removal, so Damnation is probably not a card I'm going to be seeing too often. So I can grab a Sylvan Library, possibly for the card draw. There's also an Isochron Scepter, which does not work with anything miscalculation. It works with... yeah. So, looking at either taking Sylvan Library or possibly like a Signet or a Fetch. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Library and hopefully wheel some fetches. Alright, well here's some good lands. Actually I'm probably going to take a Moloku. Moloku can actually be quite a good finisher, and there are lots of lands in here, so I imagine I'm going to get at least one back. Okay. So we get Signet and a land. Let's see. I like all these. I'm going to go ahead and start picking up land now, just to make sure we're fixing right. Take a Stomping Ground here. Alright, next pack. Got Godless Shrine, Steam Vents, or possible Beast Within. I think I better take a land here. Based on what I've got so far, probably going to go with this Godless Shrine. Alright, so here I'm going to be taking a Reflecting Pool. Reflecting Pool works fantastic with your vivid lands. There are some, obviously good dual lands here, but nothing else that really makes me want to pick anything in this pack besides maybe Arc Lightning or Creeping Mold, but Reflecting Pool is worth picking up here for the fixing. Okay, so we could pick several cards here. Thrun actually would not be a bad one because he is a fairly solid finisher, potentially, because he's so hard to hit. Jimhide Sliver would not be a bad card. Muldrifter also would not be a bad card to pick. Just for the card draw. I think we don't have enough threats, though, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a Thrun here. So we've got, basically, as our threats, one card, or two cards now, Meloku and Thrun. We need a bit more than that. if we're going to make this deck work. I would have liked to have picked up like a Simic Sky Swallower or something bigger than that, like a Sphinx of Steel Wind, or just something that has a bit of evasion, bit of protection. Moloku's not great as a finisher, but it could potentially work. Alright, here we've got Into the Royal. That's really about the only card I really am not interested in. And I'm going to go ahead and take it. Looks like not too much else here. It's a good solid answer for most things. I like Breeding Pool, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take a Complicate here for the counter spell. Action. And here, between, let's see, Scepter, there's not really much I would want to cast with Scepter besides possibly like Into the Royal and a few other like weird tricks. I think I'd just rather get a Dimir Signet here for the fixing. So I'll take that and pass the rest of these. Let's see here, none of these cards are really that playable. I'll just go ahead and take a Blood Crypt. So definitely you could say that a lot of this pack was dedicated to fixing. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks out of the what we made so far. And we got a couple of nice finishers, a good piece of mass removal, and a few counters and different answers. Okay, so Void Slime actually is a decent card here. A little bit hard to cast, but it does give us a few options. Then again, let's see, we've got a Signet or possibly a Harmonize. And that, I mean, actually this could be a little bit difficult to figure out. Because if I'm going to take a card that's double costed, like Void Slime is, I might rather take a Harmonize. But let's see. Or a Signet just for the fixing. Huh. Harmonize probably is the strongest card in this pack. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Here, not really impressed by any of these. I'll go ahead and take a Boomerang and a Bayou. Not bad. And a Twin Cast. Okay. So here we are with another pack. Alright, so we're probably going to take a Day of Judgment here for the mass removal. Other cards I like Solemn Simulacrum. I like Tega. I like Swords to Plowshares, that's for sure. Consuming Vapors. So probably if I wasn't going to take Day of Judgment, I probably would have taken Swords to Plowshares. Right. Okay. So there really aren't that many good creatures for us to take, or any good cards at all. There's Chain Lightning, which is not great, but not horrible either. Ring of Gix, maybe. Tezzeret, Vinzer. Vinzer is probably the card I like best in this pack, and I'll probably take it. Ring of Gix, not that impressed by it, but Vinzer is fine. Okay, so here it seems pretty clear I'm taking a Pernicious Deed. It's too bad I'm passing a Maelstrom Pulse and a Putrefy. I mean, you got all probably the best removal in the same pack, all in the same color guild as well. Bit strange. But yeah, I'm taking Pernicious Deed for the mass removal, and that's a pick I'm very happy to make. Okay. Catastrophe, Mirari's Wake, Path to Exile are the cards I'm seeing here. Mirari's Wake, not really my type of card here. It is a fantastic card, there's no doubt about that. The problem is, we're not going to be playing more than like 3 to 4 creatures at most, possibly. So the first ability is just dead. And the have to tap for mana, mostly good for ramp decks. For us, we're mostly just going to make the game last as long as possible until all of our opponent's threats are just sort of exhausted, and then we're going to play our own big threat. So in order to make sure that we can exhaust our opponent's threats, either take a Catastrophe here or a Path to Exile. I've already got a Day of Judgment, I got Pernicious Deed, I have Damnation. Might want to take a piece of targeted removal. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take Path to Exile here and pass the rest of these. Okay. So I've got a Birds, Sakura Tribe Elder, I think the better card here is just to take the bird. So I will take a Bird of Paradise and pass the rest of these. Hopefully get back the Volcanic Island or the Sakura Tribe Elder. Okay, so I've got a Marsh Flats, which looks like the card I'm going to be picking here. That'll fetch up, let's see, Bayou, Blood Crypt, Shrine, and I guess a few other things eventually, hopefully. So I'll go ahead and take a Flats. I prefer like maybe a Verdant Catacombs, but I can't remember whether we've already passed that or not. Probably one of the best fetch lands I could have right about now would be like a Misty Rainforest, and I don't remember if we saw that or not. So we'll just keep going with this and see whether we can make it work. Broodmage Dragon actually is a pretty good threat, so I'll be taking that guy and be pretty happy to have another bomb to throw down. Okay, I'm really not too excited by any of the cards in here. Crow's and Grip and Volcanic Hammer are the two cards that are really standing out to me for this deck at least. Volcanic Hammer as targeted removal might be useful. We've already got a few cards that do things like that. Crow's and Grip, on the other hand, destroys artifacts and enchantments. So does Indrik Stompowler, though. I guess, let's see. It's a sorcery, I don't like that. I'm not really impressed by too many of these cards here. I'd rather take a Crow's and Grip, actually, than a Volcanic Hammer. Volcanic Hammer just does not really do it for me here. Let's see, so you've definitely got quite a selection of cards here, and we'll see whether we can make it work. We've got some pretty good removal, and I'm happy to see that. Balance, I think, is going to be amazing in this deck. And once again, not really impressed by this pack. Demon Fire might be okay. I'm almost considering, though, playing an Azorius Guild Mage. Seaside Citadel is not bad, but I don't like the fact that it comes in play tapped. I think I'd rather have a Guild Mage or a Demon Fire. I've never had a chance to play the Guild Mage, so I'm going to go ahead and grab her. Here, none of these cards really matter. It's between like Ring of Gix and Crystal Ball. And I'm thinking I'd rather have a ring. Alright, so we get back a Putrefy and a Cave. Putrefy obviously seems to be the best card in here because of the removal, so gladly going to take that. Alright, here I'm going to go ahead and take another Fixer with the Temple Garden. The more lands we have that produce more than one color, the better. Because this deck's definitely going to need fixing. I've got every single color in here, and it's going to need some help getting off the ground, that's for sure. Alright, here, I think I'll just go ahead and take Armageddon away from somebody. I would not like to have my mana base destroyed. I feel like that'd be kind of hard to recover from. Alright, none of these cards matter. I'll take an Albino Troll. Better, probably, than the other creature. And I'll last pick a Ravenous Baloth, sure. Alright, so here is the deck, or the cards I drafted, rather. I'll be taking into Magic Online and making a deck out of it, and then we'll play some matches, so I'll see you there. Alright, so deck building time. Here is my 5-color monstrosity, so let's get all these cards in here. Balance, Date of Judgment. I'm not sure about Face Fetters yet. There's Calculation, Complicate, Deep Analysis, Venzer, Moloku, probably Another Royal. Damnation for sure, Birds, yes, Library, yes, Harmonize, possibly, Thrun, yes, Stompowler, yes, Deed, of course, yep, maybe on that one, I don't know. Alright, so that's 21 cards, throw in the Signet, it's 22, and play 19 lands, and that looks good. So I've got one piece of removal. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got Damnation, Day of Judgment, Pernicious Deed, Yeah, and a couple counter spells. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, overall, I think the countering looks pretty good. So Fate's Fetters is definitely a possibility, though I don't see anything in here I would like to remove to make room for it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. Let's take a look at my colors. All right, so those are the colors. All of my lands are going to make it in here, obviously. So I'm pretty even on most colors, actually. A couple double costed. I think one double costed actually in each color. Kind of really I'm lacking in red, but I have lightning and broodmate to make up for that. So red's my smallest color. Blue's the biggest, followed by white and then green. Lots of not really, actually quite a few cards that want black in them, but I also have a signet here, which helps. Um, so we can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black, and 4, 5, 6, 7 green. So actually green might actually be more than my blue and my white, so definitely need to look out for that. So let's go ahead and just put all of these into one pile over here and work on our land. So reflecting pool can be anything. We've got red, red, green, green, white, another green, white, a black, 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 white, swamp and forest, blue, green, technically any color, that right there, and then the reflecting pool, and then a mountain. Alright, so I'm going to play 19 lands. I've got 11 so far, so I need to figure out which basic lands I want to add. I've got plenty of red, I think. 1, 2 red sources, 3 red sources. Technically 4 if we count the Vivid Meadow. So that's plenty of red, no reason to add any more of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 red, that's fine. So green, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if we count the Vivids. But really, I just want to count, I'm not going to count Reflecting Pool as anything, really. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably add maybe 3 forests. So let's go ahead and go to Zendikar below the set and get some full art lands in there. Add probably 3 forests to start off with. Alright, so that's 14 land. Have room for 5 land. So now we need blue. We've got one blue source. So probably the other spots might be taken up by blue here. To give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibly sources of blue. So in terms of black, black actually might take a bit more. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. In blue, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blue shouldn't be that hard to make mana for. And like I said, green, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So probably take out at least one island, put in a swamp. All right, well, let's take a look at what that does. It's 19 lands. In terms of color, we got blue and black here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue sources, which should be good enough. And in terms of black, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 black sources. We only need 6 black. So 6 black, and we have about equal numbers of black and blue. That seems fine. Green, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably take out a green source. Even though we say we do have those cards all need green. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green sources. I think probably take out 1 forest for a swamp wouldn't be a terrible move here. Alright, so looks like that. And I'm pretty sure that'll work for us. Yep. I think that'll be good enough to get things rolling. And it's got to survive long enough to cast Meloku, Broodmage Dragon, Thrun, things of that nature. Overall, I think it looks reasonable, so we're gonna go ahead and submit this and try some matches out and see how we do. So I'll see you there.